Let's now discuss what the entire focus of limiting factors discussion is, which is basically multiple limiting factors in one question. Okay. Determine using a step-by-step approach what the optimum production plan is. When I use the word optimum production plan, what does that mean? The plan which gives me the highest profit, or the production plan which gives me the highest possible contribution. So, how many units of product 1 and product 2 should be made? That is what the optimum production plan is all about. That plan which gives me the highest possible contribution or highest possible profit. What is an optimum production plan? So this is basically that plan which gives me highest possible profit or contribution. Now here, as you can see, there are two products, product A and product B. Optimum production plan means how many units of A and how many units of B should be produced to achieve the highest possible contribution. Basically, that is what the question is asking me. A company produces two products in three departments. Details are shown below regarding the time per unit required in each department, the available hours in each department, and the contribution per unit of each product. Product A, product B. There are three departments. The product passes through departments C, D, and E, and they have given you the time taken in each department. Available hours are given to you 11,000, 9,000, 12,000. Contribution per unit is 4 per unit and 8 per unit. But demand for product B is limited to 600 units per annum. Demand for product A is unlimited. A का demand unlimited है, B का demand is limited. Okay. Guys, just give me 1 second. 1 second. Okay. What they are saying is that the demand for A is unlimited. So you can sell as many units as possible, which means you can sell 1 lakh units also. The market has enough demand, but the number of hours are limited in each of the department. So available machine hours in each of the department, each of them is a limiting factor now. Okay. So demand for A is unlimited. That means the number of hours available in each of the departments is not going to be enough. What is the limiting factor? Anything that stops us from reaching our maximum potential is a limiting factor. Here, departments C, D, and E, all the three departments, the number of hours available are limited because 11, 9, and 12 is the number given to you. Demand for product A is unlimited. तो जितना भी produce करो and sell करो, you will be able to do that. So the R's are a limiting factor, and department C, D, and E, तीनों में there is a limiting factor. ठीक है. Now, what we have to do is we have to decide how many units of A and how many units of B should be manufactured. ठीक है. So we'll follow a step-by-step approach in which the first step will be, what will be the first step? Define the variables. How do we define the variables? There is product A and there is product B. So we'll say let X units of product A be produced and Y units of product B be produced. Okay. Let there be X units of A and Y units of B. ठीक है, y units of B be produced so that the contribution is maximum. Let X units of A be made and let Y units of product B be produced so that the contribution is maximum. Now, with that in mind, let's now start framing. We have defined the variables. Now we'll define the objective. What is the objective? Objective is to maximize the contribution. Step 1, define the variables, and step 2 is define the objective. Objective is to maximize the contribution. When you make product A, the contribution per unit is 4. When you make product B, the contribution per unit is 8. So what will be, let's write down the product A and B, then units X and Y, and what is contribution per unit? 4 and 8. Is that the, yes, 4 and 8. You have products, you have units, and you have contribution per unit. So if I were to ask you, what is the total contribution? You will say 4 X units of product A are made and each unit gives a contribution of 4. So contribution from A will be 4X and from Y will be, sorry, from B will be 8Y. So the objective is maximize the total contribution of 4x plus 8y. This 4x plus 8y is called your objective function. See, we are not calling it equation. Equation kab hota hai? When you say 4x plus 8y is equal to something. Here 4x plus 8y is not going to be equal to something. It is just 4x plus 8y. You have to maximize 4x plus 8y. So the point should always be, it is an expression or it is a function. It is not an equation. ये equation नहीं है, ये expression है. There is a difference. Maximize the total contribution of 4x plus 8y. Now step 3 is basically formulate the constraints. Now in this question, I'm going to do it धीरे धीरे, step by step, so that you understand how the constraints have to be framed. Let's go department wise. Let's talk of department C. Okay, when one unit of product A goes through department C, it takes 8 hours. And when one unit of product B goes through department C, it takes 10 hours. Okay, so let's write that down. When one unit of product A goes through, or let's say gets processed in department C, it takes 8 hours. Okay, and we are making how many units? We are making X units of product A. So total time needed for product A in department C will be how many? 8x hours. That will be the total time needed. And when one unit of product B goes through department C, it needs 10 hours. Okay. Let's write this down. When one unit of product B goes through, gets processed in department C, it takes how many hours? It takes 10 hours. And we are making Y units of product B. Okay, we are making Y units of product B. So total time needed for Product B in department C will be how many hours? This will be 10Y hours. Okay, now if I ask you total time required for products A and B together in department C, you will say, sir, it is 8x plus 10y. Okay, and how many hours are available as per the question? 11,000 hours are available. And 11,000 hours are available in department C. So the total hours required have to be less than or equal to 11,000. You cannot, the total time that these two products take cannot exceed 11,000. Okay, so 8x plus 10y is less than or equal to 11,000. Why 11,000? Because that part was given in the question. Okay, the question specifically mentioned that 8x plus 10y एक second now. Less than 11,000. 11,000 is the maximum number of hours for which you can work on in department C. ठीक है, department C में आपके पास है maximum 11,000 hours and product A will take 8x hours, product B will take 10y hours total units. This number has to be less than 11,000. This is the first constraint that we have framed, that this number has to be less than 11,000. Let me put a mild color so that it doesn't hurt your eyes. This is what happens in department C. Similar activity will happen in department D also. Let's see how department D works. Okay. Now let's talk about department D. When one unit of the product gets processed in department D, it takes 4 hours. Okay. When one unit of product A gets processed in department D, it takes 4 hours. And we are making X units of product A. So total time required for product A in department D is going to be 4x hours. When one unit of product B gets processed in department D, कितना टाइम लगता है? प्रोडक्ट B को 10 hours लगता है. ठीक है, it takes 10 hours and we are making Y units of product B. So department D में product B को कितना टाइम लगेगा? 10Y hours. And total time required for products A and B together is 4x plus 10y. Total available time कितना है? You only have 9,000 hours in department D. So 4x plus 10y is less than or equal to 9,000. So this is the second limitation that you have written. Okay, this is the second constraint or the second limiting factor, which is the number of hours available in department D. And last one, let's see what happens in department E. Okay, department E. Let's see what is the time. When one unit of product A gets processed in department E, it takes 12 hours, and in department and one unit of product B takes 6 hours. ठीक है. When one unit of product A gets processed in department E, it takes how many hours? 12 hours. Oh, sorry. It takes 12 hours. Total time needed for product A in department B will be 12x hours. When one unit of product B gets processed in department E, it takes another 6 hours. हम बना रहे हैं how many units? We are making 6 units of product B. So total time spent by product B in department E will be 6y hours. टोटल टाइम कितना लगेगा दोनों एक्टिविटीज मिलाकर? 12x plus 6y. अवेलेबल आवर्स कितना है? 12,000. 12,000 दिया ना? Yes. So 12,000 hours are available in department E. 12x plus 6y less than or equal to 9,000. ठीक है. These are the three inequalities which are basically our constraint. Department
12,000 sir.
डिपार्टमेंट डी का टाइम एंड डिपार्टमेंट ई का टाइम. सी डी एंड ई.
Sir, department E 12,000 sir.
12,000. What have I written? 9,000. Oh, sorry. Department D 12. Department E is 12,000. In all questions, you are also going to add something that is known as the non-negativity constraint. Now, what is the non-negativity constraint? See, units produced can never be less than 0. So the value of x and the value of y both have to be greater than 0, or at best they can be 0, nothing different. So I'm just going to let's talk about the non-negativity constraint, which says x has to be greater than or equal to 0 and y has to be greater than or equal to 0. ठीक है. X greater than or equal to 0, y greater than or equal to 0. These are called non-negativity constraints. Why? Because the number of units produced can never be greater than 0. Correct? Number of units made, sorry, can never be less than 0. Number of units made can never be less than 0. They can be 0 or positive. This constraint is known as your non-negativity constraint. The number of units produced has to be 0 or it can be more than 0. It can never be less than 0. ठीक है. So इसको भी let's put it in a separate this thing. So ये हो गया हमारा non-negativity constraint. There is unlimited demand for product A, but demand for product B is 600 units per annum. That means you can only sell 600 units of product B, not more. And we had written down that let Y units of product B be produced. So let's write down the other constraint. What is the other constraint? That Y has to be y has to be less than or equal to 600. ठीक है, this is the other constraint, that y has to be less than or equal to 600. Because that is what the question says. It says maximum demand for product B is 600 units, which means if you produce more, it won't get sold. ठीक है, it will get wasted. So you must produce 600 or less. You cannot produce more than that. Now let's write down all the constraints. List of constraints. 8x plus 10y less than or equal to 10,000. Then 4x plus 10y less than or equal to 9,000. Then 12x plus 6y less than or equal to 12,000. This is constraint number 3. Then x and y both have to be greater than 0. And y has to be less than or equal to 600. Now what we are going to do as an activity is, we are going to basically, we have defined the constraints. Now we are going to plot them graphically. ठीक है, आपको एग्जाम में preparation of a graph is not tested. Okay, they never ask you to prepare a graph, but they will ask you to read a graphical solution. So आपको पहले पता होना चाहिए कि how is the graph made, which is what the intention of this question is, basically to teach you how a graph is made and how to read a solution using a graph. Step 4, plot these constraints on the graph. I'm going to, I need all of these columns, to be of a similar length for the linear programming analysis to work in the first place. Otherwise, it looks a little off, nothing wrong, because, I will make a disclaimer that we are not making it to scale, but कर रहे हैं तो it should appear right more than anything else. It should appear right to your eyes. यहाँ पे बनाते हैं एक ग्राफ. ठीक है, ठीक है, ये हो गया मेरा एक्स एक्सिस, जिसमें व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू प्लॉट इज, आई एम गोइंग टू प्लॉट यूनिट्स ऑफ ए, एंड दिस इज माय वाई एक्सिस. इसमें आई एम गोइंग टू प्लॉट यूनिट्स ऑफ बी. ओके, नाउ यहाँ पे लिख देते हैं 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, जैसे ग्राफ पेपर पे होता है वैसे ही. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, so on and so forth. ठीक है, now you have to understand now how exactly are we going to plot it on the graph paper. ठीक है, so let's talk about constraint 1. We'll color code this so that आपके लिए understanding that becomes a little easy. What is constraint 1? Constraint 1 is 8x plus 10y. This is the first constraint. 8x plus 10y is less than or equal to 10,000. Okay. Now constraint तो आपने लिख दिया. How will you plot an inequality? So what you are going to do is you are going to ignore the less than sign. Okay. For the time being, ignore the less than or equal to sign. Okay. And write it as 8x plus 10y equal to 11,000. Now we have to plot this constraint on the graph paper. How will we do it? Whenever you want to plot a line, the other day we discussed that you need 2 points on the line to do it, right? You need an x coordinate and you need a y coordinate. So for doing that, you will say, let us assume x equal to 0. Okay, if x equal to 0, y will be equal to 1100. Substitute x equal to 0 here. Then 10y becomes 10y equal to 11,000. Y will be 1100. Okay. And let us assume y equal to 0. Okay. If y equal to 0, then it becomes 8x plus 0 equal to 11,000. So x will be how much? X will be 11,000 upon 8, that is 1375. So if I were to define my point, my first point would be 0 comma 1100 and second point would be 1375 comma 0. 0 comma 1100 and 1375 comma 0. Now I want to plot this line. Okay, I want to plot this line. Now we had written 1, 2, 3, 4, but you can see here that these are 11,000, 12,000, so on and so forth. So instead of doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plot 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, 8, 10,000, 12,000, so on and so forth. 14,000, you can plot it in any way. See, it's up to you what kind of 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 2,000, 4,000, 6,000. It's you're plotting it according to a scale, and this is your scale. But if it is 2,000 here, then this should also be 2,000, 4,000, 14, 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, 10,000, 12,000, 14,000, and 16,000. Now, what is this point? It is 0, comma 1100. Okay. Now, 2000 might also seem like a problem. For 1100 will come somewhere here. It will make the whole thing very, very uncomfortable. So I can pick up 200, 400, 600. It depends on me what kind of numbers I want to plot because वो मेरा scale है. This is my scale. My scale. So basically 1, 2, 3, 4. Instead of that, 100, 200, 300, 400 or 2, 4, 6, 8, 200, 400. All of these numbers are equally valid. There is no problem in plotting any of these. Now, the first point is 0, comma 1100. X coordinate 0, Y coordinate 1100 will lie somewhere between these two 1000 और 1200 के बीच में आएगा 0, 1100 and 1375, 0 will be somewhere here closer to 1400. ऐसा कहीं पे वो point होगा. Now I am drawing a straight line that passes through these 2 points. ठीक है. This is the line. I'm going to make it a little bolder. The blue line is for the first constraint. I'm going to put this in blue so that you know blue line is constraint 1. ठीक है. Constraint 2, 4x plus 10y less than equal to 9000. Constraint 2, 4x plus 10y less than or equal to 9000. Now, for the time being, we will call it four x plus 10y is equal to 9000. Okay. Now, let us assume x equal to 0. Y will be how much? Y will be 900. X equal to 0. Y will be this. And let us assume y equal to 0. X will be 1375. And let us assume y equal to 0. X will be how much? X will be 9000 upon 4. That is 2250. So what are my points now? My points are 0, 900 and the other point is 2250, 0. Okay. Now let's have a different color for this. Let's put this in red. So when we plot the line, now 0, 900 is going to be a point somewhere here and 2250, 0, this will be 2000, will be a point somewhere here. ठीक है. ये होगा मेरा 2000, ये होगा मेरा 2200, 2250 will be somewhere here. यहाँ पे कहीं आएगा ये point. Now let's draw a line that passes through these 2 points. 2250, 0, 900. Let's make it thicker. ठीक है. So red line is constraint number 2. Red line is constraint 2. ठीक है. Constraint 1, constraint 2. अब constraint 3 को प्लॉट करेंगे 12x plus 6y equal to 12,000. Is less than or equal to 12,000. For the time being, let us ignore the less than or equal to sign. Write it as 12x plus 6y less than or equal to 12,000. Now, let us assume x is equal to 0, y will be 2000, and let us assume y equal to 0, x will be 1000. So, my coordinates will be 0, 2000 and 1000, 0. This is my ordered pair. So 0, 2000 will be a point somewhere here. This will be 1800. This will be 2000. Here, 0, 2000 is a point over here. And 1000, 0 is a point here. So now I have to draw a line that passes through these 2 points. I'll put it in a different color. कौन सा करूं? This is my third constraint. This purple line is constraint 3. ठीक है, पर्पल लाइन इज कंस्ट्रेंट 3. कंस्ट्रेंट 1, 2 एंड 3 प्लॉट हो गया. 4, 5 greater than 0 and y equal to 600. Constraint 6, y equal to 600. Now we had discussed the other day that whenever the equation is y equal to constant, that means the line is parallel to x-axis. Okay, y equal to constant means the line is parallel to x-axis. X equal to constant means the line is parallel to x-axis. X equal to constant means line is parallel to y. Y equal to constant means line is parallel to x-axis. So now I have to draw a straight line which goes something like this. X equal to constant. My line looks like this. Now I have plotted all of these points on a graph paper, and now my job is, see, before each line na, I have given it a specific color. Okay, मैंने हर line को एक specific color and I have put the constraint also in the same color. Now, what is the use of this less than or equal to sign? Less than, see, if you look at the number line, okay, आपका ये number line देखो आप, 2, 4, 6, 8. When you go on the right, the value increases. When you go on the left, the value decreases. Similarly, on the y-axis, when you go upward, the value decreases. When the value increases, and when you go downward, the value increases. What is the situation? When you go upward, the value increases. When you go downward, the value decreases. Now, what they have said is 8x plus 10y less than equal to 11,000. We have seen on the number line that if you need a less than from something, you need to go on the left or you need to go downward. This is my blue line. What does it say? It says less than or equal to 11,000. That means my answer is going to lie somewhere here on the left hand side of this line, or it is going to lie below this line. So idhar aayega mera solution. See, this is an inequality. So you know that one unique solution is not possible. Multiple values of solutions are feasible. 4x plus 10y less than equal to 9,000. This is for the red line. तो red line के भी और red line के left side में या red line के नीचे, this is on the left hand side, this is below. So again I am demarcating my area कि मेरा आंसर इधर होगा. Third is constraint 3, which is the purple line. पर्पल लाइन का भी इट इज लेस देन और इक्वल टू 12x प्लस 6y लेस देन और इक्वल टू 12,000, तो आपका सोल्यूशन आएगा इधर ऑन द लेफ्ट हैंड साइड और आपका सोल्यूशन आएगा बिलो द लाइन। फोर्थ कंस्ट्रेंट, अच्छा, नॉन नेगेटिविटी कंस्ट्रेंट ग्रेटर देन जीरो, x ग्रेटर देन जीरो, y ग्रेटर देन जीरो, मतलब x एक्सिस के ऊपर देर आर नो नेगेटिव वैल्यूज ऑन द ग्राफ, y एक्सिस के ऊपर देर आर नो नेगेटिव वैल्यूज ऑन द ग्राफ। And last thing, last constraint, y less than or equal to 600. So less than or means below, less than means left और less than means below, ये y equal to 600 का लाइन है, इसके भी नीचे आएगा। Now you see, my answer is not a point, but my answer is left of this line, left of this line, left of this line, below this line. ऐसा करके what have I been able to identify कि ये जो एरिया है ना, look at the part that I am shading, okay? Look at the part that I am shading. This part is where my answer is going to lie. My answer is not a point. Please understand. My answer is not a point. My answer lies in this region. ठीक है, ये जो सारा ब्लू शेडेड रीजन है ना, दिस इज वेयर माय आंसर लाइज। ओके, this is where, this is all, you know, the bounded region within which my answer lies, and this region is known as my feasible region. What is this region called? This region is this region is called my feasible region. Why do I call it feasible region? Because my answer lies in this region. Okay, my answer lies in this region. This is my feasible region. यहाँ पे कहीं मेरा आंसर होगा. Okay, not one point, but an entire region is possible. Now, shaded area is the common area bounded by all the constraint lines. Okay, this is the region, not one single point where my solution is going to lie. Okay, this is the region where my solution is going to lie. Now there is a, now you could say, Are Satyamid, all of these are, you know, possible points and my answer could lie anywhere and so many infinite points are possible. I agree with you, but this approach, which is called the linear programming approach, works on a theorem which is called as the corner point theorem. I'll tell you what the corner point theorem is. Let this point be O. Okay, O. Let this be P. ये intersection of these two, huh? Let this be Q. OPQ. Let this be R. And let this be S. Okay, OPQRS is my feasible region. Okay, there is a theorem in linear programming. Theorem is basically a law or a rule. What does the rule say? The rule says that the answer should lie if there is a bounded region in a linear programming situation. The corner point theorem says that the optimum solution will lie on one of the corner points and nowhere else. So answer will be 0, P, Q, R or S. इनमें से एक point will be my answer. Okay. As per the corner point theorem, आंसर विल बी ऑन वन ऑफ द पॉइंट्स O, P, Q, R और S. इसमें से कहीं ना कहीं that answer is going to lie. Now, if we sit down to solving all the equations and finding out कि यार इसका coordinate क्या है, इसका coordinate क्या है, that will be a time consuming exercise. I'm not saying it is not possible. All I'm saying is it is a time consuming exercise. So हम क्या करेंगे? We will use the ISO contribution line. Now, what is this ISO contribution line? एक मिनट, हाँ, ये कलर वलर सब बराबर रहना चाहिए. What is the ISO contribution line? Please understand. What was my contribution? 4x plus 8y. ठीक है, I had to maximize that. Contribution was, or contribution is given by 4x plus 8y. Now, we cannot plot 4x plus 8y on the graph, as this is not an equation. It has to be 4x plus 8y equal to something for me to plot this on the graph. ऐसे नहीं होगा. So, to plot it on the graph, what was 4x plus 8y? 4x plus 8y was supposed to be contribution. So, let's say 4x plus 8y, we can assume that 4x plus 8y equal to 2000. We could have taken any number, by the way. It's not necessary. 2000, I took it because it's easy. 2000 looks like an easy number to me. I could have taken any other value. But say 4x plus 8y equal to 2000. If we take x equal to 0, y will be equal to 250. And if we take y equal to 0, x will be equal to 500. So what will be my points? My points will be 0, 250. And here my point will be 500, 0. So can we plot 4x plus 8y? It will be 250. Where will the point be? 250, 0, 250. 0, 250 lies somewhere here. Okay. And x and 500, 0 lies somewhere here. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, let me plot this line abhi. अच्छा, अब इसका look at the, this is a brown line, okay? And ये line contribution का है ना, तो I'm going to put it in a dotted format. ठीक है? This line could be my contribution. To plot it on the graph, we can also assume that 4x plus 8y equal to 4000. Say 4x plus 8y equal to 4000. Now, if we take x equal to 0, y will be equal to 500. And if we take y equal to 0, x will become how much? 1000. So, what is my point? My point for the graph paper is 0, 500, and the second point is 1000, 0. 0, 500. 0, 500 will be somewhere here. And 1000, 0 is this point. Let me draw a line that passes through these 2 points. ठीक है? ये देखो, you see these two lines are parallel to each other. What does that mean? मैं contribution का कोई भी line if I plot it on the graph, it will be this or it will be parallel to this. मैं if I do 4x plus 8y equal to 10,000 also or 15,000 or whatever it is, that line will be parallel to this line. So now I want to maximize my contribution. ठीक है, what is my objective? I want to maximize my contribution. Can I do this? Contribution का value highest चाहिए. See, when I want to increase the value, I have to go to the right. Right में जाते हैं तो value increase होगा. ठीक है, so इसको मैं right में सरकाता हूं. Move, move, move further, go, move. जितना ज्यादा right में उतना ज्यादा better. Move Q. Yes, it crosses Q, but no, it will cross R. This point R is my optimal solution. When I slide my ISO contribution line, मैंने क्या किया? मैंने ये लाइन यहां से स्टार्ट किया. ठीक है, these two lines are parallel. इसको थोड़ा सा और ये करते हैं. These two lines are parallel to each other. ठीक है, सरकाओ, move. Point of intersection. No, not the answer. Move. Q. Still not the answer. जितना ज्यादा right, उतना on the right or up, उतना value bigger. I need the highest contribution. और सरकाओ R. I could go here, but then this is not a point on my feasible region. मेरा point यहीं पे है. So R is my optimal solution. ठीक है, ये लाइन आप जितना राइट में शिफ्ट करोगे उतना आपके लिए बेहतर होगा. ठीक है, उतना आपका वैल्यू हायर होगा. When I slide my ISO contribution line, point R is the farthest point. See, जितना ज्यादा you are away from the origin on the upward side or on the right hand side, उतना आपका value ज्यादा होगा of the contribution figure. So that means at point R, the contribution is going to be the highest. Point R is the intersection point for what? It is the intersection point for blue line and orange line. अब blue line का equation है 8x plus 10y equal to 11,000. Orange line का equation है y equal to 600. So when you solve this, substitute y equal to 600 in your blue line, you will get x equal to 625. So what is the optimum production plan? Optimum production plan is when 625 units of A are made and 600 units of B are made. This is my optimum production plan, and this is how you tackle a linear programming situation. Now, all of these points were possible, but this point was the farthest away. So, you will always have to check using the ISO contribution line which point is सबसे दूर कौन है. जो सबसे दूर है, that is my highest possible contribution generating point, and that is my optimum production. See, 00 cannot be the answer. 1,600 वाला solution also, very less chances of that being the answer. तो अगर आपको आंसर एस्टैब्लिश करना है तो you will have to find out the coordinates of the point of intersection which you have done. ठीक है.